back with another video of my Children My Africa. Today we'll be explaining or looking at one scene 4 of my Children My Africa. So now, before I may begin with this video, I received a comment or a question from one of you guys. The person said that they appreciate these videos, but they still don't understand the books quite well. So what I can suggest is that please do read the book on your own. Read the scene. Let's say you read Act 1 Scene 1 on your own, and then you come back to watch the videos. Maybe in that way you'll be able to make sense of the book. Okay, yes, without wasting any more time, let's get into the book. Please don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, and share. All right, so now in Act 1 Scene 4 we find Mr. M's monologue. Remember, a monologue, it is a long speech that is done by one actor or character in a film. So here we'll be talking about Mr. M's monologue. Okay, so we learn that Mr. M is a Confucian, or he admires Confucius. So Confucius was a Chinese philosopher and a teacher. So his philosophy emphasized humanity, loyalty to one's nature, morality, justice, as well as virtue. Okay, so we learn that Mr. M admires the famous Chinese philosopher Confucius, but does not have his calm, gentle, and Chinese heart. Okay, also we find that Mr. M's classroom motto is adapted from Confucius pages. Since he looked up to him, he also took a motto from his pages. So the motto went like this: learning undigested by thought is labor lost. Thought unassisted by learning is perilous. In simple terms, means learning without thought is pointless. Learning without thinking is pointless. And thought without learning is dangerous. For example, let's say I teach you something and then you don't think about what I'm teaching you. That is pointless. And then if you think something without learning it, it is dangerous because you may have confusion. So this is what this motto basically means. Mr. M's motto, that is adapted from Confucius pages, since he admired him, is that learning undigested by thought is labor lost. Thought unassisted by learning is perilous. Okay, so Mr. M asserts that he has a whole zoo. Remember, a monologue, long speech done by one actor. So Mr. M says that he has a whole zoo, a mad zoo of hungry animals, and the keeper is frightened. So in this case, we can see that Mr. M is using what? A figurative language. He does not explain things in their literal meanings, but figurative. So now he talks about a zoo, a mad zoo of hungry animals, and the keeper is frightened. The keeper in this case is Mr. M, and the animals that he is speaking of, it's hope, hate, as well as despair. All right. So Mr. M feeds young people to his hope. Every learner is behind a school desk. It keeps it alive. Okay, let's look at this animal being hope. Hope has broken loose and it is looking for food. But Mr. M feeds his animal hope with the learners. Seeing learners are sitting behind the desk keeps this animal hope alive. I hope we are together, and I hope that we are not lost. Okay, in this scene, Act 1, Scene 4, in Mr. M's monologue, we also find that Mr. M is unmarried. He is 57 years of age and stays at a small back room of Reverend Mbopa's house. He compares his back room to a little matchbox, which you can even put in your pocket. That's how small the back room was. Okay, so the monologue ends with Tammy's sorry. Yes. And Mr. M compares the hurt and anger in his heart about what is happening to the people, to the township of being attacked by wild beasts. We learn that he lives in a small room at Reverend Mbopa's house. Mr. M, he is not a rich man. His life is divided between the matchbox of his room and the matchbox to his classroom. So if he is not in his matchbox of his room, he is in the matchbox, which is the classroom at Zolile High School. Okay, I hope this makes sense. Mr. M's monologue. Now let us look at the comments on Act 1, Scene 4 of Mr. M's monologue. Okay, Mr. M's monologue contains a very powerful metaphor which you need to study. Mr. M directly compares his emotions. I did say that he's using figurative language, right? He compares his emotions to a mad zoo of hungry animals. In his zoo, there are at least 3 animals, which is despair, hope, and hate, okay? The one called hope is let loose and is looking for food. Hope is fed and kept alive by Mr. M's learners. I did say that, right? The metaphor means that Mr. M is experiencing intense emotions which feel like wild animals inside him. That is why he said that he has a whole zoo, a mad zoo of hungry animals, and the keeper is frightened. So this zoo that he talks about is literally his emotion. Sorry, the zoo that is talking about figuratively, it's his emotions. Okay. Yes, the metaphor means that Mr. M is experiencing intense emotions which feel like wild animals inside him. The most intense emotion he feels is hope. This hope is kept alive by the children who go to school and be educated. This hope is kept alive by Abotami and Isabel and learners from Zolile High School. The metaphor is a very effective and powerful way of explaining how intensely Mr. M hopes to educate and develop his learners and how desperately he hopes for a better future for them. Yes. So Mr. M's hope in this scene is kept alive by his learners because he is hoping, or he believes, that if he teaches his learners, if Abotami and others get educated, at some point in their life they will be able to fight against the unjust system. They will be able to fight against apartheid, since the setting of My Africa was apartheid South Africa in 1984. So he is hoping that if these learners get educated, if these learners get the education that they need, at some point in their lives they'll be able to use education and stand against the apartheid regime. Okay, so yes, that's what we find from Act 1 Scene 4, Mr. M's monologue. Okay, on the next video I'll be explaining Act 1 Scene 5 as well as Act 1 Scene 6, and then I provide some of the common exam questions that will help you prepare. Yes, please don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, and share. That's it for now. Stay safe.